to episode 3 of English Language and Literature SL. And after discussing how to write a thesis statement, we have moved on to writing topic sentences. So you wrote a strong thesis, gold star, but now you're starting your first paragraph and thinking, what even is a topic sentence? Don't worry, I'll show you how to write ones that actually prove your argument. Right. So your topic sentence is, first of all, it's the opening line of each body paragraph. It's not just a label, it's a mini argument, right? And it supports your thesis. It always supports your thesis. It's kind of derived in your thesis, from your thesis. I'm going to teach you how to do that in a second. And basically you want to think of your thesis as the big umbrella, and your topic sentence is like the ribs holding it up. So here's the formula. Your topic sentence is pretty much your thesis multiplied by or added one specific focus from your thesis. So for now, we're going to use this thesis from The Great Gatsby. I've kind of adapted it to make life a little bit easier for us. And it's in The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald critiques the illusion of self-made success by portraying Gatsby's constructed identity as ultimately fragile, using setting, symbolism, and character contrast to expose the emptiness of the American dream. Right. So now that we're looking at our first topic sentence, we can break this into 3 clear mini claims. This part of setting, symbolism, and character is not really necessary in a good thesis, but if you're adding it in, make sure you also add in your themes like self-made success, constructed identity, and fragility, and the emptiness of the American dream. And you can really, if you feel like you find it hard to come up with thesis statements, this can be a really, really good way to kind of like make life easier for yourself when you get to the topic sentences. So for my first topic sentence, I'm going to use symbolism, and I'm going to use constructed identity, right? But I can't just rewrite my statement. I kind of just have to zhuzh it up a little bit. And the thing that I have to do really, really, really well is pick a specific moment in the book or a specific example from the book. We don't have specific examples in a thesis statement. Your thesis statement is more of a general argument, but we can talk about this. So we're talking about where does symbolism show a constructed identity. So we could talk about Gatsby's West Egg Mansion and show how the contrast of it being outwardly grand but inwardly, like, it represents the performative nature of his identity. So we could say Gatsby's West Egg Mansion, though outwardly grand, symbolizes the performative nature of his identity. So that's topic sentence 1 done. Now, if you want to go really, really extra, you can add in like his attempts to buy acceptance or other key themes from the book. But this, honestly, guys, is good enough to build off of a good analysis paragraph off of. So now we're going to move on to our second topic sentence. And this thesis is actually really laid out really well for us, right? So we could talk about character contrast. Let's pick that. And we can also talk about, what else can we talk about? We talk about the emptiness or an illusion, right? So that is something we could do. And okay, so we can talk about when do we see this in the book? We talk about the symbolism. We could talk about symbolism as well. Or, you know what? We're going to stick with characters. We're going to say Fitzgerald contrasts. We're talking about Gatsby, so we're going to go Gatsby with Tom Buchanan. And what does that do? it shows, okay, so Tom Buchanan comes from old money, right? So we could talk about how it highlights to highlight the illusion of a closed social hierarchy. Well, it wouldn't be illusion. To highlight the idea of a closed social hierarchy. Right. So, and what does this do? This undermines Gatsby's pursuit of reinvention. Okay, so now for topic sentence 3, we could talk about symbolism again. No, we haven't talked about symbolism yet. We could talk about symbolism again. And we could talk about the emptiness of the American dream, which is the third part of our thesis. Okay. So we could talk about the persistent symbolism, the green light, represents Gatsby's unreachable dream. And you could literally just stop there. You could add in a bunch more about how the pursuit of self-made success is an illusion, but that's literally all you need. But what if you tell me, Udi, I'm really, really stuck? I'm going to give you a couple of backup ideas for topic sentences that you can use, right? These are your backup for when you're really like, I'm cooked in an exam, right? In a novel, you could talk about different characters. So if I was talking about Gatsby, I could talk about Daisy, I could talk about Myrtle, I could talk about Tom, right? I could talk about different settings. That's a really good one to do. That one you could talk about the East Egg, the West Egg, the Valley of the Ashes. In terms of Gatsby, I'm just contextualizing this for you. Another one you could talk about is how technique. Okay, this is one that I would say you have to be really good with this, because if you're talking about Gatsby uses symbolism, okay, yeah, where does he use symbolism, or what does his use of symbolism show? So you could go techniques and effect. Both those have to be included in your topic sentence if you're sticking with a technique. But if you're doing, like, say, a poem in a paper 1, you could talk very easily about different techniques, but that's often the one that I go for most. Techniques, but you need the effect. Talk about the author uses metaphor to highlight rage, or the author uses enjambment to show the unraveling of thoughts, but you need an effect in there. And another one is like how, like, different ways in which a theme or character is presented. Character is presented. So what do I mean by this, right? Something I mean by this is like the question could be, how is love presented in this poem? You could talk about love is presented as a dream. You could talk about love is presented as something that destroys the spirit of a character. Or if you want to talk about different ways in which a character is presented, you could say that in this chapter, this stanza, the character is presented as easygoing and free. And this stanza is presented as blah, blah, blah. So, as a quick recap, your thesis is one core argument. Each topic sentence is one sharp specific angle that proves it. And if you're stuck, break it down by character, setting, or technique. Right. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching.